Greetings, everybody. Michael here. Today I'm going to talk about faith and fear. So let's get to it. Basically, whenever somebody is angry or very irritated, confused, basically any feeling that's other than peaceful, what's occurring is a reaction to something that they are afraid of. So, our natural state of being is peacefulness. And we have all these experiences that we go through so that we can learn how to be more loving. And it's really that simple. So, there's lots of variations of these lessons. We learn how to be more compassionate, how to be more forgiving, how to be less judgmental, how to be more appreciative. So there's lots of different ways of receiving the information depending on where we have barriers of thought forms that are preventing us from allowing for more truth to be gathered. So, those barriers are always going to be fear based thought forms, beliefs, feelings, emotions, really anything, regardless of the type of communication that's occurring, where we are not accepting the information is because we are afraid. If we look at the bigger picture and we realize that all forms of energy are generated by the one, what we can do is learn to be more faithful. So, how do we do that? Well, we can start with learning how to be more present. This is always a good place to start. When we find our 0 point, we are going to be able and ready to receive the light. So, everything is just simply various forms of energy. And we receive this information through our five senses. We are so conditioned to be focused on what we see. This is where we typically start the learning process. We can then also listen to what is being either described or said or sung by birds, whatever. Uh, we then can smell, taste, and touch whatever it is that we are experiencing in most cases. Of course, we're not going to need to, for example, pick up a rock and taste it, but we can certainly touch it. We could examine it from all angles and gather whatever information is being relayed from the one. So everything that we experience is meant for us. And if we can accept these transmissions as being simply pieces of information, then we can more readily absorb more information. So I like to take it one step at a time. We always listen to our feelings when we want to become present. So When we feel peaceful and we realize that this is our natural state, then we can accept that we are already there. We're already in the present moment, the true now. If we feel anything other than peaceful, and I like to use that term other than peaceful, instead of using more judgmental feelings, because if we talk about things in terms of, let's say, negative energy or evil energy or whatever, we're going to be more tempted to be afraid than we are to be faithful. So let's start with using terms like other than peaceful. Hope that makes sense. Basically, anytime you feel anything that is other than peaceful, it's simply a reminder to become present. Try it. You can do it right now. How do you feel right now? If you feel peaceful, then you are being present and you are listening and you are absorbing information. Now, you may not know me personally, you may never have had a conversation with me, but that's okay. So, what does it take to trust anybody or any process? Well, it takes faith because you don't know where that person is coming from. You don't know what their intentions are. You're not supposed to know. You can't possibly know. You can have an idea and you can use your intuition. If something doesn't feel quite right, instead of ignoring it, acknowledge it and listen to the message. When I say that we should accept all forms of information, that is intended to be in relation to the usefulness of that information. So if we use faith to overcome a level of fear and we face the music, as it were, and we learn from that, then as soon as we learn, we will sometimes feel tears of gratitude. Sometimes we will laugh and we will realize that we learned something about ourselves. Now, when we are in relationships where there is not a free exchange of information or energy that is useful, and when I say useful, I like to look at being peaceful or other than peaceful. So if you continuously receive information or energy from somebody that only makes you feel other than peaceful, then it would seem that it's time to disengage from that relationship and move on. And that's okay. That doesn't mean you don't have compassion for that person or that you don't love that person anymore. But sometimes it's time to find a new partner to have these kinds of conversations with. So relationships are always going to be based on how well you communicate. When there's a breakdown in communication, there are misunderstandings, there are assumptions that are made, people take things personally, people get mad, people think they know what the other person is intending, and it just turns into a big chaotic mess. So if we can learn to become present, be still and listen, maybe there's something that we can learn. If we find that there's just nothing that we're able to understand about that person, then it's okay to move on. Just do it. Don't feel guilty about it. Use your intuition. Use your uh, use your consciousness to focus on how to become more aware. So it's always a choice. Become more aware or remain at the level of awareness that you are being. And there's no right or wrong with this. There is simply your experience of life. So have fun with it. Uh, when you find that you're confused or angry, realize that you are possibly overthinking it, which happens all the time. Don't beat yourself up for it. Just become present, take a deep breath, and start feeling your way through that lesson. So instead of looking at any of these things as problems that you have to solve, think about them as lessons that if you learn them, you will become more aware. All right, people, that's all I have for today. Be peaceful, share what you learn, encourage other people, and have fun. All right. I love you guys. Peace.